Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mental Health Matters with me. This is a brand new episode, and today we are going to continue with all things communication. And as the title goes, we will be looking at people pleasing, why we need to realize that people pleasing is actually something that is toxic. It's a toxic trait, and it's something that is a danger to your mental health. There are so many dangers to people pleasing, and that's exactly what we will be looking into today. So let's get into it. I think we don't realize, or rather, people pleasers don't realize that they are people pleasing. The only thing that makes them realize this is when you do something maybe to please another person or to please other people. And then at the end of the day, when you're alone by yourself, you start feeling bad. You are disadvantaged in your situation. You don't have anything left for yourself. You are resentful. You feel bitter because you did something that you did not want to do to please another person. You did something, you gave something that you don't have to please another person. And now you're in a situation where you are stuck and you're the one that actually needs the help. You have nothing for yourself because you were trying to please someone. And in that moment, of course, it felt good. It was satisfying for you to please that person. And at the back of your mind, you are probably thinking, oh, I don't want this person to think I'm a bad person. And it happens unconsciously. What I mean by unconsciously is that we are not aware whenever that thing happens where you force yourself to help someone, you force yourself to do something for someone. And there's that little thought where you're just like, I don't want them to think that I'm a bad person. And then obviously remember that the thought is unconscious, the feeling is unconscious. Sorry, the thought is unconscious, but it's there. And what happens when you're alone, or what happens later on, is that it transpires into that feeling of resentment, feeling bad, feeling like, what did I just do? Why did I do that? Regretful, and so on. And that is just the basic process of people pleasing. If there's someone out there who doesn't know what I'm talking about, that is just the basics of that moment when we as people decide to people please. And I said decide because it's a choice. It's a choice. But then what makes it an automatic thing? What makes it so natural for people to people please? A bunch of circumstances. First of all, if your mental health is not relatively healthy, and what I mean by that, keep in mind, I never said anything about mental illness. I never said if you are mentally ill. I said when you're mentally unhealthy. So it could be that you have a low self-esteem. It could be that a low self-efficacy, the way you view yourself, the ability to believe in yourself, low self-confidence. You don't have any confidence. You have a low self-esteem. You don't believe in yourself. You were not validated enough. Therefore, you don't have the tools to validate yourself. So, of course, you will feel the need to be validated by people, and you will people please, right? So many things, traumas, backgrounds, adults, the adults that were around you, your parents, your guardians, and everybody else. And remember, I'm not pointing out at anybody. I'm not doing this to say we should blame people, our legal guardians and adults and whoever who was part of your upbringing and all of that, or whoever who was a big part of your life or who played a huge role in your life. That's not the point. But the point is to be able to see and identify where does this come from, because believe it or not, when you're a child, the adults around you influence you indirectly or directly. They do have a huge influence in regards to your identity, who you then become. And of course, as adults, this is why we are here. This is why I'm here, for example, to help us make a choice, to help us choose what are some of the things that are not working, the guidance that you receive that is just not working for you, and what are some of the things that are working for you, what are some of the things that you need to change, what are some of the things that you need to implement so that you become a better person, so that you feel better about yourself. So there's so many factors, like I said, that affected your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-efficacy, self-regard, all those things, self-confidence. Those are the things that make a part of your mental health, and how you view, how you think, how you view things, how you think about the world, yourself, your life, your perspectives, and everything. So people pleasing stems from a lack or an imbalance or some disturbance regarding those things that I just mentioned. And so you become an adult, you become a child, actually. You become a child that constantly wants to please. You want to please your friends, you want to please the adults around you, you want to make sure your teachers are happy. Just an example that I'm making right now. You just want to make sure your teachers are happy about you. You just want to make sure that, people are just good. People, when they think about you, there's no trouble. You don't want to cause trouble at all. You just want to be this good child. And that also is an unconscious process, because remember, it's because of all the things that are affecting you, that are influencing you. But now the issue is when you become an adult and you are now at the mercy of other adults. You are now people pleasing. And for me personally, adulthood is all about choices. There are so many choices and decisions that we make each and every day. Even the things that some of the things that you want to think up, you have to choose and be like, listen, I don't want to think about this right now. I'll see it later. Or let me do this. You're constantly making decisions. And when you're at the mercy of other people, when you are constantly having to influence other people's decisions and their ideas and meeting their expectations, what happens to you? What happens to your mental health? What happens to your identity? What happens to the ways in which you think about yourself? A lot happens. And I think that we are at a point in society where people talk about narcissists. People just throw a word, they throw around the word narcissist. He's a narcissist. She's a narcissist. He's got narcissistic traits, patterns. What a narcissist. The way he said this or the way she said this makes her or him a narcissist. And that's all great, but also we don't talk about people pleasers. We don't talk about what happens on the other side, on the other end. We have a narcissist, but on the other side is actually a people pleaser. It's like you have a narcissist and a people pleaser. This is why the narcissist gains more power. This is why the narcissist gains more influence and stands firm and strong in their conviction and in their place in whatever they do and what they say, because there is a people pleaser on the other side, enabling, allowing this narcissist to thrive. So really, people pleasing is more about standing up for yourself. Are you able to stand up for yourself, or are you not able to? And when you're not able to stand up for yourself, when you are not validated, when you are seeking validation outside of yourself, and you are seeking things that will make you feel good about yourself and know who you are people pleasing. definitely. Most definitely. And that leaves you that short changes you. Like, you end up not having anything for yourself. You end up literally scraping the last bits of yourself, pieces of yourself, because you are just constantly giving and giving and giving and giving and giving in order, or thinking that you are actually validating yourself, thinking that you'll actually feel good about yourself, thinking that you will fill in those gaps and those holes, that void within yourself. And this also leads me to the ability to say no. We have so many people, as people, we say yes 99.9% of the time, but we struggle to say no. The times that we actually say no are less than the times we actually say yes. There is an imbalance. There is an imbalance. And also, when we look at the ability to say no, what is there to lose? If you really think about it, if I say no, if somebody wants me to do this and do that, and I need to give up my time, I need to give up my energy, I need to give up this, I need to give up this, and I know that I'm unable to, and I know deep down inside that I cannot, I'm unable to, I cannot, or I simply do not want to. If I say no, what's there to lose? What is there to lose? You don't lose a part of your body, you don't lose anything. And the worst case scenarios, of course, would be ending that relationship with that person, or whatever it is that connects you, that it would maybe end. Maybe that person would be like, I don't want to do this anymore because you're not giving me what I want, or you're not giving me what I need. I think that's the only thing I can imagine. And that's sad when you're in a situation where you are fond of the person, you're connected to that person, you love that person, etc. That is the tragedy. But you are not losing anything about yourself. But instead, what you're gaining is self-validation. You're validating yourself and you're saying, I'm putting boundaries in my life, and I'm saying this is what I can give and this is what I can't give. And this is what I can do. This is what I can't do. This is why there's so much conflict. There is a lot of conflict within our own minds, within our own systems. And therefore, there's conflict with others externally, because we cannot, when your body, when your mind, when everything in you is telling you that, dude, no, you can't do this because you don't have this. These are the facts. You can't give up this because 1, 2, and 3. And you begin to fight that. You begin to deny that. You begin to act like that's not true. What happens is that there is going to be a conflict that arises. Like I said, you're going to start feeling resentful, you're feeling this and you're feeling that. And when it happens over time, there's a build up of those emotions, those feelings. There's a build up of those feelings. And then what happens is you either explode, there's a big conflict, and things just get out of control. Things get to a point of no return. When at the beginning, when this thing happened, you should have just said that, no, I won't be able to do this. But you allowed yourself, because you think so less of yourself, because you feel like other things and other people need to validate you. You know, this is like an addiction, and I really don't want to go into addictions, because when we talk about addictions, then we are going through the mental illness route. And my intention here is to let's just start with the basic everyday things, because that's where the trouble that's where the trouble begins. That's where the issues, everything just begins before it becomes a big thing like a mental illness. And I'm very aware and sensitive when it comes to the mental illness thing, because that's a whole level. So the basics of it in this case would be not saying anything, not expressing anything. It builds up over time, and then things blow up out of proportion. They blow out of proportion, and in many instances it's too late, or in most instances, people cannot see. You know, when something has been going on for so long, even when you have that outburst and you finally speak your mind and you finally speak the truth, it's going to be so hard for others to really see what caused the whole thing, to really see where does this come from, because it has been going on for so long. You've been saying yes for so long, to a point where people take that, or whoever takes that and makes it a part of your identity. Oh, this person is like this, or she's like this. Oh, you know what, she'll always say yes. Oh, he'll always say no. Let's look at a typical example of people that take you at face value. I'm going to make an example with myself. A lot of people, I, I would say most people, or some people, I don't know, but a bunch of people, whether when I meet them for the first time, or they don't really know me like that, they tend to, think that they can say anything to me however way they want to say it, and keep in mind, I'm aware of the fact that as people, well, there is a bunch of people in a group of people in this world that will test you, like a child. When a child is like testing your boundaries, like, can I do this, and can I do that, and you have to say no. If you're a parent, you just have to say no, you can't do this and you can't do this. Children will always test you, but there are adults who are like that, who will test you to try and figure out what kind of person you are, to try and press your buttons or whatever. And I've come across a lot of people that would do that and say anything and throw anything to me. And when it's time for me to clap back, it's like, whoa, oh, she's a mean person, she's whatever, and they'll pay me in however way that they want to pay me. But the thing is, I've got boundaries, and you don't come up to me and you say whatever that you want to say to me in however way. There is a way in which you must approach everybody. And keep in mind, it's not a special case, not like I'm saying, oh, I'm this person, whatever. No, it's not about that. It's just general respect, respecting society, respecting other people. And so when it happened at the beginning, I used to be very triggered about it, but as time went by, I stopped being triggered, because that meant one thing, and that is that person doesn't have any kind of self-respect. That person is battling. That person is battling, in so many ways in regards to their self-regard and their self-respect. And they were probably spoken to like that too many times. So they don't know exactly how to approach people. They don't know whether they know the person or they don't know the person. They just approach everybody in however way, or certain types of people that trigger them in however way. And I've come to understand that over time. So I'm making that example to show how people pleasing plays out. You end up doing it so naturally. It's like out of your control. You are not even aware that you're doing it, but you're actually just shortchanging yourself. You're depriving yourself of that self-validation. You are emptying yourself. You remain empty, and that can actually lead to a mental illness. This is the part where we go into a mental illness, such as anxiety or depression, or this or that, or even worse in some circumstances. So we really need to start focusing and looking at the ways in which we have allowed ourselves to say yes when we really wanted to say no. I think that is the basic. How many times do you actually say yes when you wanted to say no? I think that's where it starts. And that will give you an idea of whether you are a people pleaser or not. That will give you an idea of what could be the issue. Do you want people to say to you, oh, this person, she's a nice person, or he's a nice person, or you want to be this good person. Why do you want to be this good person so bad? Because if you're a good person, you're a good person, and you already know it. Why do you constantly have to put yourself at the back burner so that other people can actually validate you, accept you. And I think when I'm talking about validation, I'm also talking about acceptance. A lot of people, we can't run away from the fact that a lot of people in this world want to be accepted. You want to be accepted by people that, of course, the people that love you, the people that are close. And some people want to be accepted by the whole world. And listen, that's okay. But at what cost? I think that's the question. At what cost? What is the point if at the end of the day you feel like crap? What is the point if at the end of the day you feel empty? And keep in mind, you're people pleasing, but you can't even ask for help. You can't even ask for anything from the very same person because this is your role that you've assigned yourself to, and other people have assigned to you based on your inability to say no every single time. And there are so many ways to say no. I think also people are vocabulary sensitive, people are tone sensitive. Sometimes you don't have to say no. Sometimes you can simply say something like, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that right now. I don't have the resource. There are so many ways in which you can say no. And I think that later on or moving forward into the future, we will start looking at vocabulary. What kind of vocabulary can we use in these difficult situations where you don't know how to say no, but you really want to say no, and you feel bad and you feel like this person's going to think you're the worst person, this person. Like, we are so, we glorify other people so much, yet we don't even glorify ourselves, like we don't even acknowledge ourselves. And that affects your mental health in a tremendous way, in a way that you cannot even imagine. So that is the whole point of this video. I hope that it was really helpful for us, and it will just give us some perspective. The tools that you can take is to simply think about the ways or the times that you wanted to say no, but you kept on saying yes. Even now, currently, what are some of the things that you really don't want to do? Like, you just want to just burst out and say no, but you're constantly holding yourself back. Think about that, and think about how that affects you later on when you're by yourself. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel? If it makes you feel good, and if you're perfectly fine with it, sharp, like, that's okay. But if it really affects you and is detrimental, and how you feel every single time, then it's high time you addressed it. And these are the basics as to how you can go about tapping into that. So thank you so much. I hope we are taking care of our mental health. Your mental health is really important, whether you believe in this thing or not, or whether you think it's not cool or you think it's this. Listen, it's important, and it affects every little thing that you do. How you wake up in the morning, how you go about your day, what you say, how you feel, everything. So let's take care of that, and I hope to see you next time in another video. Thank you. Bye.